Peace and blessings, everyone. My name is Ashton Nix. It's Monday, and you're here for the collective reading for the week. Every Monday, you can join me here, where I will have a reading that is done for the collective. It will help you know how to get through the week, what energies might be coming up, and anything that you might be internally feeling that you need to have brought out so that you can face your week with ease, joy, and glory. So, without further ado, I'm just going to shuffle these cards. And while I'm shuffling the cards, maybe you just take a quick moment to collect your breath. You can pause the video to get yourself your sage, your candles. Maybe you're just closing your eyes and you're coming up with an intention or a question for this reading. Whatever it is that you want to know, whatever it is that you want to hear. And just allowing the energies and the guides around you to be present. And if this isn't for your highest good, you don't have to receive it. And if it is for your highest good, then go ahead and take it in. All right, here we go. So the first card that I'm pulling is release. Release. So this card is pretty obvious. It means to release. I feel like in the collective, something I've been seeing a lot of is people saying that they have all these feelings and these emotions that they want to express, but they don't feel like they can, or they don't know exactly how to. And there's so many different ways that you can release those emotions, release those feelings, whether that's in a new moon ritual, whether that's in writing in your journal, talking to a therapist, talking to a spiritual advisor, a life coach, or tarot reader, someone that can help you navigate through that problem and kind of come to the root of that problem so that you can make space for the things that are trying to come into your life. A lot of times what happens is when we're trying to manifest new things, or we're trying to go to the next level in our spiritual enlightenment or growth or whatever the case may be, sometimes we're holding on to things that we can't take with us to the next level. It's very similar to a video game where you might have one add-on or one special that you get in a certain level, but then the next level you can't use that, or it basically doesn't really work because it's not what you need in that specific space of the game. This is exactly the same in your spiritual process and in your life process. Sometimes we take things on with us that we actually were just supposed to use for a moment. Schools of thinking, ways of being, teachers, friends, people. Sometimes those people are not, those ideas, those things are not supposed to go with us on our journey. And so this card is kind of just saying, like, right now is the time to release, let go, don't hold on to things that are dragging you down. The more space that you have to give the universe room to move, the better. So if you're holding on to things, the universe is like, well, I can't give you more because your hands are already full. So if you've been feeling like your hands are already full but you want to collect more, you have to pick and choose now what it is that you're going to drop to the side so that you can move on to the next phase in your life. So again, that card is release. Release. Your next message is transmute. Transmute. I love these cards. So now we're in a space saying that we need to transmute. Maybe there are some things that are inside of us, some anger, some pain, some rage, some happiness, some joy, some sorrow, something that needs to be transmuted. And to transmute something is merely to change the form of what it is. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transmuted, transferred, right? So what that means is, say for instance, you have this anger about things going on in the world around you, or you have this anger at a person who hurt you or harmed you. Holding on to that energy is going to keep you stagnant in this particular moment in the universe. So what the universe is asking of you now is to, instead of focus on the anger or the pain, channeling it into something that's actually good for you. So for instance, using your anger to protest, to activate, to create spaces in your community where people can use that energy. Anger doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It can also be used as a tool, a vehicle for change. So if that is something that resonates with you, you know, maybe some steps could be is how can I use this energy to better my life and those around me? Or how can I use this energy to make sure that no one else feels like this? Or how can I do something to change the narrative, to change the story, right? This is literally just saying to take the time to alchemize, take the time to consciously focus on where that energy is going, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. So you can channel these negative and dark emotions into positive avenues, just like you can channel positive energy into negative avenues. You can send positive energy into negative spaces to change and transform that energy there. So this is just really kind of being, again, you have to kind of pinpoint what it is that's going on. What are these feelings? What are these emotions? What are these things that you need to release? And then when you figure out that you need to release them, how can you transform that energy without just sending that chaotic energy out into the universe, but actually giving it a purpose and a direction so that it can be transformed for the, you know, the highest good of yourself and the highest good of your personal collective. Your next message, our next message, is love. Love. So, this is just to say that love is the heartbeat of all things within the universe. Even hate comes from love. Even pain can be found in love. Healing can be found in love. Joy can be found in love. It is one of the most mutual things, because while yes, it gives us this feeling, love can make us do strange things. Love can make us hurt someone. Love can make us heal someone. Love can make us sacrifice ourselves. However, it's how you allow yourself to channel that love. Sometimes love can become obsessive. Sometimes love can be something that's so detrimental to where you're going and what you're doing. Say, for instance, in a romantic relationship, maybe you have a decision that you have to make singularly by yourself, but you're allowing your love of the other, your love of the situation, the love of where you are, whatever, to prevent you from taking that next step because you feel comfortable, because you feel complacent. Maybe it's that, you know, you're afraid to do it alone, but love is not something that is the only energy in this universe. While yes, it's a really powerful force, the love of others, the love of self, it can sometimes keep us stuck in certain cycles. So again, transforming, releasing. If something you feel like you love right now is creating negative energy, negative responses, maybe even you're feeling as though you're giving your all to someone or something that you love, or you're giving your all to a situation that you really want to see happen because that's what you feel like is your passion or where you're supposed to go, let it go. There's that saying, if you really love something and you let it go and it's meant to be with you, it'll come back, right? And if you release it and it doesn't come back, then it wasn't never supposed to be yours. So stop being so afraid to let go of something because of the fear in the absence of that thing. You can still love something without it being in your presence or being in your space or being in your immediate tactile, you know, space. You can love something from afar. You can love something through time and space. You can love something momentarily. So it's, some things come into our lives to teach us lessons, and other things come into our lives just to show us what life really is and what life really can be. And love is a beautiful, beautiful, powerful force. And love is a beautiful, beautiful thing when it's positive, when it's good, when it's actually adding on to your elevation, adding on to your next space. But it can also be detrimental, like I said before. It can also hold pain, anger, hatred, stagnation, depending on if you're obsessive or if you're, you know, not approaching it from a way of unconditional love. Unconditional love is saying that regardless of whether or not I can have you or you're in my space, you're something that's mine, right? I still love you. I still have love for you. I still love your energy, and I'm still grateful for that energy. Our next card is Paradox. Ooh, this is a good one. Paradox. So a paradox is something that is something but isn't something at the same time. It contradicts itself. Just like we were just saying with love, sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. Entering into a paradox just means that you have to see that not all things are black and white. Not all things are easily explained. sometimes the more deeper that you get into something, the stranger that it becomes, or the less understanding that you have, even if you went into it with the full understanding. And so just trusting that sometimes not everything is as it seems is okay, and to trust your innate wisdom, trust what you have going on inside of you to navigate you through these situations this week. Allow yourself to remember, like, okay, not everything is good, not everything is bad. Where does it come in the middle? Where is the truth there? Where does all of this kind of like form the true picture? Because when you only see something from a space of like over exaltation, so basically like you're really, really about something, you can only see those things. And when you only come from a space of like anti, you can only see those things. But when you come from a neutral space and you're allowing yourself to experience and to feel, and then to, process and say, okay, so this feeling might feel good right now, but what happens when it starts to feel bad? Not to say that you're not enjoying and letting yourself, be within that energy, but sometimes it's just about, saying, okay, what is the opposite side of this, and how is that presenting itself inside of my life? And allowing yourself to realize that, again, just as the sun brings us warmth, it can also hurt us with its intensity, right? Just as the moon brings us light, when it's gone, even though it's in the sky, we can't see. Trusting that everything has a good and a bad, and to not get so caught up within those spaces of duality is super important this week. And finally, the last card is the Sage. Allowing yourself to use wisdom this week when it comes to anything is really important. Thinking before you speak, allowing yourself to, analyze the full situation of all things that have happened, things that have gone on before, things that could potentially happen. Using wisdom to navigate is so important right now, because if you're not allowing yourself to tap into your personal wisdom, your personal truth, and you're only going by what others are telling you, you'll never be able to truly be in control of your destination and your journey, because you're letting other people dictate and guide you. If anything, when I do these readings, I want people to find the answers within themselves, and I want people to be able to empower themselves, because by growing and cultivating your personal power is the best way for you to help and contribute to the collective consciousness, the collective good, right? And so becoming the sage is learning from your teachers, learning from your masters, but then going off and finding your own path within all these things. So this week, find your personal path within, this people, this places, and the spaces that you're a part of. Maybe there's something in your life that has been coming up that you feel like you're not qualified to do, or that you want to share with the world but you're kind of afraid of. This is the time now to make that leap. This is the time now to transform that fear into courage. Transform, that feeling of you're not good enough into the feeling of you can do it. Confidence, giving yourself the permission is really important. Giving your permission to heal yourself, and through healing yourself, being able to heal others by just being who you're supposed to be is really important this week. There's a lot of energy, a lot of chaotic energy happening all around us. On Tuesday, there's going to be a new moon. So this is a time for newness, to manifest, to bring new things into your life. But the only way you can do that is, again, by releasing that energy that no longer serves you, releasing all the things that you're holding on to that are taking away the space for the new things that you're trying to bring into your life, okay? Again, transmuting things, transmuting your anger, your pain, your fear into something that can activate positive change in your life right now, using those things to manifest what you actually desire by taking the energy and focusing your intention and your attention to the things that you actually desire. Using love to move through this reality, letting go of the things that you're holding on so tightly through fear, and letting love dictate what will happen, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but knowing that there's a lesson and there's healing, and just experiencing the energy and the frequency of love. knowing that something can be one thing and it can also be the other. So by allowing things to be complex, allowing the paradoxes to happen, and instead of trying to control, allowing things to be as they are, allowing the flow state to activate, and allowing yourself just to see and observe without giving any type of judgment. And then when you see and you observe, allowing your wisdom and your discernment to then impact your decisions in the way that you show up in your community and in your own personal life. These are things that are hard to do. We talk about them a lot, but it just takes time and practice. It just takes time and practice. And this week, you're going to be tested. Your patience is going to be tested. Your love is going to be tested. Your thought process is going to be tested. But knowing that all this is happening so that you can activate a newer understanding and a deeper wisdom of yourself is so important. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this resonates in some way, shape, or form. My name is Ashton Nix, the Phoenix Priestess. I'll be back next week with another collective reading. And if you would like to schedule your own personal reading, you can do so by emailing me at thephoenixpriestess@gmail.com. The email is in the description of this video, and hopefully I will see you next week. Have a blessed day. Namaste.